This video is going to be about the deception of the perception of the God and devil situation that we deal with today. Now, I'm going to give one example. If God says that he's a jealous God, then that would implicate that there are other gods. Because I know if I say I'm jealous, then I know that I'm a jealous person. I know it's potential that somebody else can be better than me or could be better than me, or something in that person or anything makes me jealous. But if God is the Alpha and Omega of everything, which is the beginning and end, Alpha and Omega, the top notch, the creator of the stars, the universe, and everything we see, then what could possibly make God jealous? And that's the whole point. These are key words put in there to let you know that it's something to that when you're saying you're jealous. It doesn't mean, and you say, and this is the typical answer I would get, oh, don't worship idol gods, idol this, idol that. But it doesn't matter about worshiping idol this and idol that when you don't even know what other gods are, because you are created, well, Adam and Eve supposedly was created knowing only one God. So then all of a sudden they're going to stumble upon some other gods, so they're going to think of some other gods. That means they will have an imagination, and having an imagination means you're creative. So basically you're saying don't be creative, don't have your own mind, because that'll make me jealous. Obviously that's what it is, or the simple fact that there are other gods just like you in existence, or better than you, or the same level as you, that you could get jealous of, because there's no way the God of the universe or everything in creation can get jealous. Number two, another thing is when we look in the Bible and we hear they speak about us and our, and they speak about God said, let us create man in our own likeness. That was another creation. That was a creation before the so-called Adam and Eve creation. And I have to keep going through that because everyone always goes to that. When they're Christian, they always say God said, let us make man out of his likeness. And then they apply it to Adam and Eve. And it's a totally different creation. Does that mean that we're being told how creation was in the beginning? No, we're being told of a beginning. Of a beginning. Just one of many beginnings. And the reason why you know that it is because God says, be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. And if you have to replenish anything, that means implies there was something already there. So now you got the word God, which before it was broken down into English terms, meant Elohim in Hebrew, until they took over the Hebrew language and tried to make Elohim all of a sudden mean one God, when Elohim originally meant many gods. So when you take the word God said, let us make man out of our own likeness, and replace it with the Elohim said, let us make man, then you will see that it was entities, multiple entities that took something that was already here and made it out of their likeness, whether it i.e. be the mentality or the physicality, it was still molded out of their likeness. So what happened to those entities? Those entities were never discussed about what happened to them. They were all of a sudden not there. And then here we go with Adam and Eve. So when you go into that, you look at the situation where Adam and Eve, okay, Eve bumps into the devil, and the devil tells her, hey, he hadn't told you everything. You could bite from this apple, you'll see everything. You'll see all of this. But that is just a metaphor. That whole story is not real. It's allegory. But what it's trying to tell you is this. The devil was basically bringing truth to a hidden situation. It was truth to a hidden situation. It wasn't about nobody not being ready. It was just like somebody hiding some food from you, and they tell you, well, we don't have no more food, and you living in an apartment with this person, and they say, we don't have no more food, but don't go in that closet. Because that closet right there, you go in that closet, you just gonna die. As soon as you go in the closet. So then you so happen to talk to somebody that knows exactly everything about that apartment and what's in that closet, and they come and tell you, hey, they just starving you. You go in that closet, it's gonna be all the food that you want. Now, are you wrong for going in that closet? No, you're not wrong, because when you look at the psychosis of it, you were basically being lied to. So when you look at that, and you try to tell people that, they don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe that the God and devil situation is the same, one and the same entity. To cause people to murder on something called Passover is not a godly thing. And you could say that it is, but it's not. The man of today has become blind and deaf to the fact that they are responsible for everything that we see in existence pretty much because of the imagination and the creativity that you have. But if your imaginative and creativity is taken away by a middleman named Jesus, then God don't even have to be perceived at all, because now Jesus died for you. That's all it is. And that Jesus hasn't even been here for as long as these other things have been here on this planet that they keep away from you, such as astrology. They say it's bad, but yet everything in the Bible goes with astrology. So what I'm saying is, what you perceive to be good is not necessarily good, and what you perceive to be evil is not necessarily evil. It's just a point of view, and you have to take it and look at it closely. But we have been handicapped in not looking at these things closely because we want to believe in a fairy tale, and that fairy tale is what keeps us down, whether you think it doesn't keep you down or not. I'll give you an example. If something makes you feel good, does it actually teach you? If somebody tells you something that makes you feel good, does it actually help you? If somebody always tells you yes when you ask them for something, is that necessarily good for you? So the whole point is, you don't look at that. You think just because they're telling you something that you want to hear, that is good for you. But if somebody tell you something that you should hear, you don't like it. It's the devil. And that's the whole thing. Something that somebody wants to hear becomes godly. Something that somebody don't want to hear becomes devilistic. And this is the same psychosis that you get in Adam and Eve when he talks about the apple and don't do this. Because what's happening is Eve is being told something that she shouldn't hear because you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. But God told them something that they wanted to hear. Well, never, even if they didn't even know whether they wanted to hear it or not. It was just something they were told. But basically, this works on the psychosis of the reader. So when the reader is looking at it, they saying, hey, don't do that because it's bad. Because that's something somebody told you that you said, hey, that's bad. So now you're going to believe that. And here comes somebody else telling you, hey, that's not bad, that's good. But that person's got to be put in the doghouse, because then that's actually telling you something that you need to see. And this is what it goes with today. Example, my girl was just saying the same thing. She was saying, hey, am I fat? Or hey, am I ugly? Or hey, is my head too big? Hey, am I too skinny? And if a person say no, knowing that they looking at that and they saying no, but they keeping the truth from them saying no. And then a person come along and they say, hey, do I got a big head? Am I skinny? And another person come along and say, hell yeah, your head is kind of big. Hell yeah, you are kind of skinny. Yeah, you need to gain weight. Now that person feels bad. This goes all the way back to the feel-good stuff. Because this is what the church and the Bible is doing. It's giving you feel-good stories. It's giving you feel-good situations. So every time something good happens for you, it's got to be God, because it's a feel-good thing. And every time something bad happens for you, it's got to be the devil, because it's a bad thing. And this is the problem. Something that happens for you that you don't like probably is something good for you, so that you can straighten your ass out. Something that happens for you that's good all the time, you will never straighten out. Give an example again. If you never, ever deprive your children, not deprive them, but say, I'm just going to give them everything they want. They're going to have everything they want, anything they want, everything they want. And you give it to them. And then you raise them in a reality that this is how life is. Then when they get out into the world, they find out, hey, that's not how life really is. This is not how it is. This is not how it is. But at home, I can't leave home. I can't do it. And this is where we get the can't leave home situation going. Because I can't leave home. Because if I leave home, reality is going to set in, and it's going to say, hey, it's nothing like my parents fooled me to believe in life is about. That's the whole thing. Everybody wants to be feeling good. Everybody wants feel good stuff, and it's a time for that to be ending. The time for the feel good stuff is over. You make yourself feel good. Don't expect an outside source or outside thing, entity, or whatever make you feel good, because you're going to rely on that. And then when reality hits you, there's nothing you can do but go right to that source that always made you feel good. And that is not teaching you anything. And this is what the whole God thing about the God and the devil thing is. The God and the devil is one and the same. They're both hidden. If you believe that God exists and you believe that the devil exists, then you tell me how they look. Tell me, have you seen them lately? Because you haven't. You haven't seen them lately. They're just concepts of good and bad. Because without bad, it can't be good. But wait a minute. Without good, it can't be bad. Without anything positive, it can't be a negative. This is what it's all about. You can't have everything working all the time for the positive in this reality. We live in a reality that you have to have bad if there's good. You live in a reality that if there's somebody starving over there, there's somebody eating. And this is what I'm trying to get at too. If a kid is starving, if a child is starving, born into starvation, rape, pillage, and starvation, was that God's plan for them? To just be born into the world, into that sickness. To just be born, it was God's plan. But it was God's plan for Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and all these evangelists that's got all this damn money they taking from you to have it. And what are they doing for the good or greater of the world? Not the good or greater for the goddamn community. That little shit. You got $200 million, motherfucker. Shit, that little shit in the community is a drop in a hat. Who cares? What are they really doing? So that was God's plan to get them millions of dollars, and it was his plan to let these kids get sacrificed, raped, child trafficking, all of this shit. That was his plan for that. And then to allow this shit to keep on happening, and then they say, oh, hold on, the tribulation is coming. How you know? Because you're not supposed to know the beginning, and you're not supposed to know the end. See, the whole thing is I give you shit you don't want to hear, because that's the real shit. It ain't got to be no shit that you used to hearing. It's the shit you don't want to hear, because that's what's running the world, the shit you don't want to hear. And that's why it's just like people pushing the shit to the back. What's running the world? Entities running the world. These same entities that gave you the clue in Genesis. They told you, let us make man out of our own likeness. They told you that. They didn't say, God didn't say that. You look at Hebrew, you see that it was Elohim, and that's exactly what it means, bro. It's exactly what it means, sis. It's exactly what it means, people. It ain't what they keep changing these terminologies and books. You know why? But this is why they do it. Tell me how come I ain't finna get to the English alphabet or whatever. I'm gonna go to the Russian alphabet. Tell me how come in the Russian alphabet it was 149 alphabet. Then it went to 44. Then it went to 33. So I'm gonna ask you the question. Each time that it went there, it shortened out a reality and made a perception of a word to mean something else. That's why in Hebrew, the word God meant Elohim, and the original meaning was many gods. So many gods. So this is the reason why they telling you in the book, these entities, fallen angels, whatever you want to call it, playing God to man. They've been doing that, and man is sitting behind these entities. These entities are sitting behind man saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. And this is why they worshiping them. This is what the blood sacrifices is for these entities that just sat there and used the man to tell you. Use the man to tell you this. Because they ain't writing shit. Use the man to tell you this in English writing, which is not an ancient text at all. In English writing, which is double meanings and curse language, all of that. Use English writing to tell you something. And when they tell you something, it's telling you to your face and you still don't get it. That many entities came here playing God, and they went and they did something with man. And they still doing it with man. And every time man don't do what they wanted to do, they all come together and they cause destruction. When you look in the history, look at the Tower of Babel, and you look at the history, look at the Tower of Babel, and then you look at the history of civilizations like over there in Europe, like the Muslim civilizations, the Moors and the Jews and the Christians, Judaism and Christianity, and then Islam. You got to understand that these entities went into other people's, these human beings that entities are using like chess pieces to do this shit, going conquering other people, taking their language to the point that that language don't no longer exist in that region, and putting their schools in to teach them the language that they have. So now, once language and linguistics is put into the picture, a word can be changed to mean something else so that you don't know what that shit mean when you reading it. That's why you confused, because you don't know what this shit mean when you reading it. You know why? Because there's somebody changing shit, and you know how they can do it? That's how they can come down and say, let us confound their language. That's right. Let us tear up their shit and give them the language we want them to speak, the shit we want them to believe. That's what the shit means. It's the fucking metaphor for what they doing to you, man, and what they done. This is a code book for Masonic and high elite people to know what that shit mean, and they using astrology in it. They just showing you, hey, this is what we did to you, and this is what we gonna do. That's what Revelations is. This is what we gonna do to you. Now, how would they know what they gonna do? Because they know how man is in and out. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand it. If you have any entity that's been on this plane as long as they have and been spreading the knowledge down, handing it down, they already know what man it is. They already know what to do. They already understand what's going to be next. They already do it. That's why they have secret societies and elites. They already know that. This is how they play the game with people. And that's why you got a beginning, not the beginning, a beginning, and they sitting there telling you, but you think it's one God and all they're doing this shit. That's why people look how they look. That's why it's many different looks of people, tall, skinny, fat, men with all this shit. You can't tell me that one God did this and he still got the nerve to be jealous. The nerve to be jealous when you're doing jealous of what? You can you know the word jealous can be destroyed, and he can say, you don't even know what jealous mean. Thanos the shit. But get the fuck out of here, because that's what he be able to do if you're supremely powerful. Okay, make them forget what jealousy even is. Because you know what I'm saying? So that's what, you gotta know where the interference comes in. Just like Jesus. Jesus is nothing but Horus. Horus ain't nothing but Haru. And all this Osiris shit. That's all what it is. It's all the same stuff reran to keep us in a reality of believing a fake illusionary world. That is why we can't advance as a human race. That's why we can't advance as even our own race in another race, because we believe in an illusion. Jay-Z, Beyonce, all them illusions that we see on TV, and we thinking that could become us when it ain't got shit to do with none of that. And this is what you can never get people to get on board. When people are like, it's God's plan. It's God's plan for you. And it's 80 billion people in the fucking world, in the universe, all over the fucking place. And they're just looking at you, saying that this is for you. What about them starving people and them fucked up people? You got to think about them. If you say, oh, fuck them, then you know better than the God that you so-called believe in. So all this shit is a wash. That's why I try to tell people, the power is you. Point blank, simple, you. You think of something, it's going to happen. You make it happen by getting your ass up doing shit. That's how the fuck shit happen. And if you saying, well, how come this can happen and I can think of it? Because we got chakras. 7 main chakras that are energy vortexes in your hand. Look it up. We got hand vortexes, head, crown chakra, base chakra, solar plex chakra, the heart chakra. We got all of this, we got energy that comes out of us. So if you think something, it's going to happen. Just like, okay, say for instance, a person thought of how to make a park bench. The park bench wasn't there until somebody said, ooh, let me make a park bench. And they just came out of their head and made one. Because that's being creative. That's creation right there. You did that. See, this is what the problem is. You create the shit that you perceive that somebody gave you, and they could keep changing the shit because man don't live long enough to challenge it. So say you live in 90 years and then they change the text in the Bible 90 years later. Now it means something else. You just like you could go to school and look at the math and shit. When we was in school, they changed the math. The math is even different. How you get this equational answer? Oh, we do it this way. Well, what happened? We did it this way. Because they could change it. They could change shit on generations because you don't live long enough, and they know you're too dumb to even pay attention to what they doing because they throwing all this bullshit your way. But I guess that's God's plan too. That's bullshit. This is the reason why people don't want to believe that they have their own destiny. It ain't your destiny to be rich like that other person. It ain't your destiny to be just like that other person. Don't you think if we all was rich that we would be getting shot and killed? Because they don't want us to be rich and have our own shit. It ain't fucking gonna happen. So however successful you is in your life and what way you successful is the way you are. You be happy about that shit and learn about the world we live in and stop living in fantasy, because that God and devil shit is fantasy and it's insane. Look it up if you don't believe me. Start looking up shit and stop looking at people, judging them and talking shit. Look up shit, but you might be scared. You might piss on yourself when you find out that shit ain't even real. Holla.